Hello everybody, I am Shia, the eccentric quilter, and I am going to do a quick video, hoping I'm in frame, about how or why I started quilting. And if I get hot, I'm going to turn on the fan above me, so bear with me. But anyways, I started quilting, I want to say maybe 2013, between 2013 and 2015. Now, if you ask me, I will still say I am a beginner quilter. By the way, I am working on a design, or I am pressing a quilt top from Curve Appeal 3-yard fabric. I wanted something that was kind of easy to do, to kind of break up the very intricate quilts that I have been posting lately. So these are the titles. We have Cameo, Double Dutch, Hourglass, Mosaic, Rhythm, Tulips, Twist and Shout, and Voyage. So out of these, which one do you think I'm pressing, if you can figure it out? Now, I started quilting between 2013 and 2015, and I still, to this very day, consider myself a beginner. I think in my mind it's because I don't do quilt shows, or I don't think I'm ready for quilt show level or have that confidence or whatnot that those ladies and gentlemen have. I am not ready for that category yet. So I, to this day, still a beginner. I am just long arming to my little happy goodness, so I guess that's growth, and want to long arm for others, and that's where we are as far as my standing. And it all started because a co-worker, and if you follow me on social media, you know who that is, or you've probably heard me talk about her. Dixon wanted me to make a quilt for her son. I started off, or my roots are in garment sewing. Garment sewing and quilting, those are different ball games, but I did it because, one, it was for her. So even though I felt like it is not the same, it's for her. So I went in, bit the bullet, and did it. And then secondly, it was the offer of, well, whatever you need, you can, to do to make the quilt, she was gonna pay for it, and I could keep the materials. So I researched it first because I did not want to commit to something I had no idea about doing. And I looked at it, I researched it, and it was doable. I felt like, okay, I can handle this. And I ended up loving it, of course, because I'm still quilting. In fact, I hardly ever garment sew. I definitely have not sewn a garment in the last two to 3 years. And I am living my best quilty life, if you will, and have not looked back. So thank you for that. And I made a bunch of quilts. Even I look back on my camera reel, or I look back on Instagram, and I'm like, oh, I did make that. Oh, I forgot about that. And it's just nice to know those quilts are either with family members, hoarded by my mother, or off in the world, and that makes me feel very, very nice. But it almost ended. I almost didn't quilt because of a quilt shop. And it's not their fault, more of their opinion. So as I was learning, I want to say I was 6 months in. And in those 6 months, I made quilts, I made a letterman, I experimented. What about this? I wanted to do EQ8 because I was convinced that I needed the EQ8 to be a quilter. By the way, I did get EQ8. I used it like once. I still have it. But anyway, I had wanted to do all the things, wanted to learn all the stuff. And there was one part that I just did not care for, and it was the binding. I would make these big quilts because now I don't really make built. I can, But since I make so many, I don't necessarily go toward making super like king size quilts or queen size quilts. I like to do a throw. So imagine you binding the throw. And I know some of you might be thinking like, oh, well, it's not that bad, it's the end. And those people who might think, oh, it's not that bad, you all might be machine quilters. But 6 months into quilting, I did not know you could machine quilt. Because other than learning the videos that I saw, which were more of techniques of how to piece a quilt, the binding, I was told by the quilt shop how to hand bind. And they showed me, you stitch it here, you fold it over, and you stitch, and that's what you do. So for 6 months, I was hand binding and stitching my quilts, and I would be so happy to get to the end, and then that part came and it was miserable. So one day I was on Obama's internet, or Beyonce's, whoever you may believe in. I was on their internet and noticed or heard somebody mention machine binding. And I'm trying to figure out, well, what is machine binding? So of course I watched it, and they talked about how it was easier, and you know, machine binding might be sturdier if you use your quilts a lot. And I was trying to figure out, what is this witchcraft, machine binding? So when I went to the quilt shop again, I asked them about, hey, can you actually machine bind your quilt, and how does that go? And they were like, oh yeah, you can machine bind. And the way that they told me at the time is you stitch the binding on the back, fold it over, and then stitch it around in the front. I've done both ways. I've done facing, all of that by now. But at the time, that's what I knew. And for the life of me, I was just stunned for a couple of seconds, and I was trying to figure out, how come no one told me that's how you could finish or bind a quilt? Because I know I've been in there talking about, you know, struggling hand quilting and how to make it easier, and they gave me I had the thimbles and clips to try to make it better, and leathers and all this kind of thing. And I hated it. Like at one point I was just like, I like quilting, but can somebody else do this? Man, this part is not for me. Is there another way? For the lady to say, oh yeah, you could have machine quilted all your time, but we didn't tell you about machine quilting because it doesn't, you know, look authentic. It looks better when you hand bind it. That is your opinion. And you have me out here struggling in these country southern streets because I'm in the South. And I'm over here trying to figure out how to finish my quilt. And then on top of that, to find out that it is sturdier, because I like my quilts to be used. It's only a handful of quilts that I've made that actually are on walls or for art, because I like for things that I do to be useful. But I am over here just struggling, catching needle strays over someone's opinion that didn't bother to tell me, hey, these are the ways to bind. Now, about that quilt shop, cool people, no complaints. If I were in that town or still in that area and I wanted to go get some fabric, I would. But that just blew my mind. Like seriously. So luckily I found that out, and that made my quilting go even more through the roof as far as, you know, completing quilts and being successful on binding and everything. So I have let me rephrase that. I do have a complaint about that in my journey, because that almost took me out, but I still love it. It's still wonderful, but make sure you just don't go from that one source and just take it for the 100% gospel. And a lot of you probably might not even do that, but I was a whole lot younger then, and I did not know, because my world was all garment sewing. But I know now. So if you are new to quilting and you are struggling with binding, do not quit. You can machine quilt that part too. If you like the piecing part, find a long armor. Would I love it to be me? Of course. But if not, find you a long armor. Hit up the Stars of Missouri or someone and be happy with your project. And that is it for today. I hope you all enjoy. I'm finally feeling my air conditioner. I want you all to go create something and be great and be wonderful and be creative, or don't go take a nap and live your best life, whichever one. Thank you for watching my video, and if there are any ideas of what I should do next, or if there is a curve appeal pattern that you would like to see, especially if you would like to see a curve appeal pattern with matte couture fabrics in there or anything of the sort, leave a comment below. Like and subscribe. Do all of the things. I think I've decided I'm going to build up this channel, and you can't build it if you don't post it. So thank you for watching. You all have a wonderful day. Enjoy. Bye.